All right, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. TV people, are you ready to go? Yeah. All right, we'll let the roll call show that all councilors are present. And our next order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, that brings us to our agenda. Is there anything that council would like to remove or add to the agenda or staff?
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second. The motion's been made and seconded to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. That brings us to our consent agenda. Is there anything that anybody would like to remove from the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to request that we move item 4.8 to the regular agenda under new business and number at 7.48.
Okay. All right, then we'll move along with the consent agenda. We'll take a motion to approve. Second, motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. That brings us to our open forum. We welcome residents to speak on items not on the agenda. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, and we're not going to discuss any legal issues or matters thereof. We understand that a number of you are likely here for the Princeton Fire and Rescue Department petition and would like to make some comments or ask questions. If you are here for that item, please hold your comments and questions until that time, and that on the agenda is 7.1. So that will be right after the open forum. So just, if there's anybody else want to talk to other issues that aren't fire department related, then we'll do those first. Again, you'll be limited to 3 minutes. And if your question has been asked, please refrain from asking it again. There's a lot of you here. I don't think anybody is interested in staying till midnight. So now, if there are topics to be brought before the council's attention, please step forward, state your name and address for the record. Jen?
Is this for the open forum? I would like to speak if it is.
Well, if it's not to do with the fire department support petition, then yes.
Okay, it's not.
All right.
Hi, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Ken Murray. I'm Wynett Township Supervisor. I'm also on the Fire Advisory Board. We paid Princeton for fire protection last year for half of our township, $45,107. And you might ask why I'm here tonight. I've never been at one of your meetings. I'm here because I want to be treated like a customer. I want a fair contract. I want billing done correctly for all townships. And I want to know what the budget is for our March annual meeting so I can set my budget. I don't think I'm asking for anything that anybody in this building would want. The billing for all the township fire departments has been wrong for the last 3 years. We've been a customer for 40 years. Never had a problem. never come to one of your meetings. Everything was done correctly. And that's just the way it was. The last 3 years for us has been a nightmare. And the billing's still wrong. We still have some credits coming. I've asked about them credits. So far, I haven't got any response. So that's what I have. Where's my money? Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ken.
Mike Fishman, Princeton Town Board Supervisor. We are also asking why we cannot have our budget, because we have a meeting on Tuesday. So we can get the same things clarified. Thank you.
Julie Rolfus from Princeton. What is the process of appointing a new fire chief? And how will the emergency position, be paid for?
Okay,
Mr. Mayor. If, if there are no other non-fire department I'm not trying to avoid the speaker's question. That would be a question that would be part of, after we listen to Mr. Akers, then we would go into all of the other questions that raise the speaker's current question, so. If
Right.
that's okay.
is there anybody else that is not here for fire department? All right, we'll move on to 7.1. Support petition from Dustin Akers.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, staff, and all who are in attendance for tonight's meeting. My name is Dustin Akers and I live in Princeton, Minnesota. On January 19th, 2024, I started a petition as a concerned citizen in support of Princeton Fire and Rescue on their journey to obtain safer working conditions and better leadership. As of today, the petition has 863 signatures. The petition contains important details such as safety issues within the department, mismanagement of city funds, inadequate leadership from our city leaders, and slow response times from the fire chief of fixing essential equipment that our firefighters desperately need in order for them to remain safe and keep our community safe. Dusty the Dumpster has proven that our city is resilient, engaged, and supportive of Princeton Public Safety, and ready for a new generation of leadership. This coalition of people represents a positive message of strength that I'm proud to be a part of within this community. Fire Chief Ron Lawrence, thank you for your 29 years of service in the fire department. I wish you the best in your future endeavors moving forward. In 2018, Lawrence became the first fire chief of Princeton Fire and Rescue to become a part-time city paid position. Before that, the members of the department were able to elect their own fire chief every 2 years. In this retirement letter that Lawrence sent over to the city, it stated that he was retiring from Princeton Fire and Rescue Department. What does this mean for the fire department moving forward, as he did not resign from the city position? Will he have a new role within the city and step down from the fire chief city paid position? And if so, what are his roles? Earlier this month, our community was informed of a workplace assessment that would cost taxpayers up to $17,000. According to Assistant Chief Josh Vicari, $14,000 to $17,000 would have been more than enough to cover the repairs that the fire department desperately needs and have been asking for in the past year. In my opinion, as a concerned citizen, the department and city council need an audit. Where is all the taxpayers' money going to? Something needs to be done about this sooner than later. On February 8th, 2024, a majority of Princeton firefighters will be turning in their pages unless change happens now. In conclusion, thank you for allowing this time to present my concerns behind this petition, and I look forward to building a better future for this community. Moving forward, the community has a few questions that we would like answered promptly. How will the new fire chief be selected? How long will the term be? What are the city's plans to prevent this from happening in the future? And I do have documents of everything that I sent in earlier, if you guys want them handed over.
That, over there. Just add over there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Could you, state your address for the record, please?
4159 70th Avenue, Princeton, Minnesota.
Thank you. All right, so if you have questions regarding what Mr. Akers had to say, or comments, now is your chance. We'll start, like I said before, if somebody asks a question, it gets answered, even if it's we can't answer that question because it's a legal question, please refrain from that because there's a lot of questions that we expect tonight. So, with that.
Mayor, can I interrupt again?
Sure.
And I apologize for that, but, Mr. Akers did, ask a number of questions in his presentation. And so perhaps we would start with those.
Okay.
And then, I can take those. And I appreciate Mr. Akers' transparency. So the first question he asked is, with, Chief Mr. Lawrence's retirement from Princeton Fire and Rescue Department, what does that mean moving forward since he did not resign from the city position? Well, he did resign. The fire chief / emergency manager is a city position. He has retired or is intending to retire effective March 1st from both his role as fire chief and as a member of the Princeton Fire and Rescue Department. The next question that was asked by Mr. Akers was, will he have a new role within the city and step down from the fire chief paid city position? And if so, what are his roles? The subsequent role that Mr. Lawrence will or will not serve has yet to be determined. Excuse me, please do not interrupt me. I'm attempting to answer the question forthrightly. The city is in the process of determining the ultimate job description or descriptions. And the position was a combined position. At the time, the position was created in 2018 when it became a paid position versus an elected position. But again, he has retired from the position of fire chief and as a member of the Princeton Fire and Rescue Department. It is possible that the city council may choose to place Mr. Lawrence in the role of a part-time emergency manager, but that is yet to be determined. And if that were to occur, that would be a department head position, even part-time. And both that position and the fire chief position would report to me as the city administrator. The next question that Mr. Akers asked is where does all the taxpayer money go? So first of all, I'd like to state that the city is required annually to be audited. The state law requires that. If anyone is interested in last year or any subsequent or previous years' financial statements, they are available on the city's website, or I can email them to you directly. In terms of the fire department's annual budget, because I don't know that you want me to go through 60 pages of budget information. If you do, I'd be happy to meet with you individually to go through the budgeting process and where all the dollars, taxpayer dollars, are allocated to. But if our technology services manager could put up, I do have a couple of slides I prepared. And we can briefly talk about where the money is gone for the department, or where the money is allocated to, I should say.
Could you possibly send me those emails of the, everything that you just said? Of the accounts and budget and.
Sure, I can send you the budget workbook. If you, yes, we do have your email address on record. Thank you. So this is a little difficult to see it, and I understand that, but these are the budget. This is a graph indicating the fire department operational budget. This is expenses only. This does not include the revenue streams that come into the department. So on the far left are the total budget expenses, and the various bars are 2021, 2022, and 2023 actuals. Although I will note that the 2023 numbers are not audited yet. There are still bills that we're receiving in 2024 that will be accrued back to the 2023 budget year. The goldenrod is the estimated projected 2024 adopted budget. So the two larger buckets, as I like to call them, of expenses are payroll, which is the next set of columns, and and services, which is the third middle column, and then we have supplies, and we also do a voluntary annual contribution to PARA, which is roughly $23,000 a year. Average expenses over the last 3 years, which would be 2021, 22, and 23, was approximately $361,000. We have an adopted budget for 2024 of $352,000. This does not include capital expenses. If you want to flip the next slide, Ed, I just did two just to kind of give folks. So in terms of the safety equipment and capital equipment that we purchase, we spend roughly on an annual basis between $45,000 and $5,000 on radios and pagers. We budget annually for the self-contained breathing apparatus, roughly $4,500. We spend roughly, we've budgeted, at least for 2024, $16,000 for expert and professional services. Those are a number of for the professional services such as medical testing for the department, individuals, whether they be going through the hiring process or their annual fit tests, et cetera. In terms of maintenance, we budget roughly 25,000. We have professional companies that come out and do maintenance on the trucks and vehicles. And then in terms of capital expenses, this year, we have budgeted about $115,000, and that will include extrication tools, turnout gear, and disposal of the Class B old foam, which has been determined to be a health hazard for the fire department members if it should be used. So that's just a snapshot. Again, if anyone wants to, Justin, I will send you the budget information for the adopted budget. But if anyone wants to have a personal overview of the city's budget or questions about the department's budget specifically, I will be happy to share that information.
Thank you.
I have been attending the fire executive board meetings, the leadership team, and have been sharing information with them about the budget and trying to getting information that I can forecast out future expenses for the department to make sure that we don't miss anything as we do annual budgeting. The next questions that were in Mr. Akers' presentation is, and I believe this is was it Rolfs? Okay, thank you. I don't want to mispronounce.
No, that's fine.
Thank you. The next question is, how will the new fire chief be selected? As this is a department head position, this will be the new chief will be hired in the same manner as we hire any other city employee. We have detailed steps outlined in Article 4 of the city's personnel manual, and I'd be happy to share that, but I will give you a broad overview. In general, a job description would need to be approved by the city council and authorize then opening the hiring process. We would have someone apply or several someones apply. Those applications would be reviewed. The applicants that were selected for interviews would then be interviewed, and then a recommendation would be made to the council as to the selected candidate for hiring. Now you're going to ask me who's involved in all of that, and that is a process we have yet to determine. But we'll leave it at that. Question number, the next question that was asked by Mr. Akers in his presentation is, how long will the term be? Again, as this is a city hiring position and is not elected, there is no term in terms of the employment of the chief or any of us staff people that are in this room today. The last question is, what are the city's plans to prevent this from happening in the future? My response to that would be the implementation of the recommendations from the workplace assessment, which Princeton Fire and Rescue Department members are encouraged to participate in, provide their input so we can put safeguards and procedures and policies in place so that we don't repeat history. So I believe those answer the questions that were raised in Mr. Akers' presentation. So now I will turn it back over to the mayor
Thank you
to
for that.
take additional questions.
Sometimes I'm a little funky up here. Mr. Akers, did we miss any questions?
None of that, but I got a few more.
Me too.
Okay. Now is your chance. Let's keep this as orderly as we can. And when you come up, remember to state your name and address. And then we'll go on from there.
My name is Elizabeth Barron. I live at 208 9th Avenue South, Princeton. And I don't think that the fire department works at your pleasure. I don't think that the police work at your pleasure. I think that the police and the fire department are essential services for Princeton. And I have, as you know, I have lots of experience with your unaccountability, and I'm just concerned that they're not they should be able to vote in their own fire chief. Why on earth don't they vote in their own fire chief? They know who's the most qualified. This is insane. They don't work at your pleasure. They have an essential job that they do in the city. If you have a house fire, I mean, what is going on here is exactly the experiences that I've had with you guys, and something needs to be done to support them.
Do that.
Hi, I'm Jessica Chase Weiss. My address is 1111 Triangle Court in Princeton. I'm here. I have my three young children in the back because my husband's working out of town. So thanks for taking the time to hear me today. I have a brother and sister-in-law on the department. So this is very, very personal for me. I would like to know, first of all, ma'am, Michelle,
Yes.
if you are the supervisor of the chief, why did you not do the workplace assessment yourself and save us taxpayers up to $17,000? That is what I would like to know. As I'm raising my three young children and the economy is horrendous.
Thank you for your question. I will tell you that the reason that we.
Time out. I have 2 minutes. It does not get
I'm sorry.
paused.
I apologize.
Okay, if you want to go ahead, I just want to make sure I get I got 2 more questions.
Okay. The reason that we brought in an outside firm to perform a workplace assessment is essentially to, I guess, have a neutral third party to hear the concerns and to ensure that everyone's opinions were held in confidentiality. They are well versed in these types of assessments. And I understand that it is a taxpayer expense. However, the council and upon my recommendation felt that this was the best way to get the best information for the council to consider.
I would just like for the record to state that I don't agree with that. I think if you can't do your job, you shouldn't have it. Because if I didn't do my job, I'd be canned in a heartbeat.
Yep.
That really bothers me. Being my brother and sister-in-law are on the department. This is my time, please.
Oh, sorry.
My brother and my sister-in-law are on this department. I want to know when their gear is going to be fixed. If they go in to save your family, why does my family suffer? I want to know. I want a date when it's going to be fixed. A date.
Would you like to ask your last question and I can?
That's 3. That I turned if I didn't do my job, I'd be fired into a statement because I'm not happy.
In response to the gear, I will take that on behalf, again. The mayor visited with the members of the department who were present at training on Tuesday evening. So we do have a list, of those specific firefighters who had gear concerns. And, subsequent to that, we entered into the storage room. And so Ed, if you would be so kind as to put the photographs up. And if I can direct my next comments to Public Works Director Gerald and retired firefighter Gerald, could please tell us where this room is located, who has access, and details of what we're looking at, please.
This room is located in the hallway across from the chief, assistant chief, and captain's offices next to the admin room.
Yeah.
And it is
Microphone down so people can hear him.
accessible by chief, assistant chief, and captains. What you're looking at is photos of gear, some that has been used, some that is mildly used, some that is brand new. It's not uncommon in the fire service to reuse gear as long as it still is within the parameters of fire service and what is deemed a viable piece of equipment. Again, there's gloves, safety vests, reflective gear. These are for rope rescue. The bins to the left contain suspenders, Nomex hoods, visors for helmets, safety glasses. More turnout gear. The boxes on the shelf in front of the bins are flashlights. There's brand new face pieces that have not been issued. Here's a multitude of boots of different various sizes. More helmets and safety gear. More turnout gear. These are extrication gloves, some in mildly used conditions, some in the container that are still brand new, as well as firefighting gloves that were deemed still usable. And just more fireproof material there. And these are the flashlights again. And again, the bins that hold excess material with suspenders, tools, shields. Well, next there. Again, more helmets. Some are still in plastic. These are Wildland firefighting helmets.
I do have a follow-up to that. So if this is all gear that is usable, did we lack leadership to use that gear? So how come it's not being used? How come my brother-in-law's boots have holes in them?
Ma'am, I will answer that question, having 27 years on the service. When I was in, if I had something that failed, I went to my captain.
So you're gonna transfer
What
blame.
I'm saying is that, no, I'm not transferring blame at all. There's a chain of command. They were with holes in them.
They were issued with holes in them.
Did you talk to your captain is my question.
No, the chief, when I got them, he gave it them.
NFPA standard says, when is gear supposed to be replaced? Because I can tell you by looking in that picture, some of that's a hell of a lot older than what it's supposed to be.
If you have a comment or a question, Mr. Hiller, would you?
Yeah.
Step in line, thank you.
I have another follow-up to my garage. I think I have a little bit of time left. I would like to know if the chief isn't doing his job within the department, why do we think that it is acceptable to give him a lateral move to a different responsible position that I have to pay for? I'd like to know. Sounds like you guys are all in each other's pockets. Who's got an answer? Because that's what I see. I'm really frustrated, you guys. Who's got an answer?
That's not an answer we're prepared to answer tonight.
Well, you should have been. You were prepared to rub it in our faces that there's gear sitting there.
There is gear sitting there.
Again, we're not here to debate.
That's fine. You know what? We'll vote. It's fine. We'll vote.
I've taken your comments and we will address the issue.
How will we be notified of the issues that are being addressed? Because I have 3 young children. My husband works out of town. How am I going to be notified of what's going on? Because I feel like you guys are all very quiet.
I believe you've sent me an email.
That you didn't respond to. Sure did. 2 of them actually.
You guys don't even respond.
I'll second that. I sent the email. I
Excuse
didn't
me.
get a response either.
So the most recent, safety equipment and gear problems were not brought to anyone at the city level as a concern until 3 weeks ago, when we received an OSHA complaint that was answered and closed, and still at no time was one single safety gear or piece of equipment brought to our attention.
That's chief's.
It's been on.
So the chief wanted to give him a job, be able to do what he's doing.
So
Good job, you didn't tell them, give him another
I
job.
have a question for the assistant chief and the captains in the room. You have
It's not your
access.
time. Why don't you get mine?
Okay, do you want questions answered or not?
Yeah, but you're
I am
giving
not
us the
gonna give
runaround.
mine. I am part of city council.
You're giving us the
And I'm
runaround.
gonna answer a question. I'm answering your questions. At no point did the assistant chief or any of the captains, as well as the fire chief, take these firefighters into that room and give them new safety gear when it has been available to them this whole entire time.
Sounds
That
like
is the answer to your question.
It sounds like it's outdated, and I know for a fact that there isn't a pair of boots that fit my brother.
Can I respond to that?
Please.
The question?
Sure.
So most of that gear in that room is expired or damaged.
Hey.
And so we can't give, if somebody comes with a concern, we can't give them new gear because there's hardly any new gear in there. You can shake your head no, Jenny, but I can show you damaged gear in that room. Any concern that was brought to a captain or to myself,
Josh, would it be better for a
Can I finish my
firefighter
sentence?
if they have a crack or,
can I please finish my sentence?
no, or a.
No,
you-
Well, finish.
All right.
Can I finish my sentence, please?
Yes.
Please. Any concern that was brought to a captain or myself was brought to Ron, and we discussed them in exec board meetings. We have minutes of these concerns being brought forth for the last 3 months, and Michelle McPherson was in those meetings.
Yes.
supervisor.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jessica.
I'd like to respond to some of that. I was at the last Blue Fire Exec Board meeting. And whether there was some discussion on a few things like truck flashlights, pipe holes. Not when I was there discussion on personal gear. The only time I've heard questions about personal gear is from somebody that mentioned something on a social media post. That's what I know about it. That's what I know. I was at the fire hall on Tuesday and just about every member was there looking at the room. That I don't know everybody in here. But looking at the crowd in the room, just about everybody was there. I had 21 items that were brought to me. And some of them were turnout gear that had wear and tear on it. I don't know what the grading of that turnout gear is. But the face mask, helmet parts, I understand that those parts are in that room. And as captains, assistant chief all have access to that to replace those parts. Is everything brand new? No, it's not. But none of the stuff you have is brand new after the first fire you're in. If you got holes in your boots and there's no other boots, then yeah, we'll address it. All right, next.
Hi, my name is Susan Juleson. I live in Wyandotte Township. Thanks for being here. So first thing that I have to ask is our chief currently still employed and getting a paycheck from the city of Princeton?
Oh, yeah.
Yes? This is true.
Yes, he is employed till March first.
So right now I see him as non-participant. He's not participating in this. So I would like to ask if, since we do not technically have a fire chief that can directly answer our questions, can we put the assistant fire chief in charge?
No, it's the city council's job to appoint the chief. The chief is still working, still doing his job. The reason.
He's not here. I'm concerned the city council isn't doing their job at this point.
And that's fine, but again, one person at a time, thank you. So the answer to your question.
You guys gotta stop my clock, please.
Sorry, that's not that.
So the answer to your question is no.
No, okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is transparency, and obviously there's been a lot of non-transparency issues that have occurred. The first thing that I'd like to address is the fact that the fire advisory board meeting minutes are like nowhere to be found, and I know that that's where a lot of issues have come up. So I don't understand why we don't have access to that. It should be on the city website, and it's not. So can somebody address that, please?
We will correct that.
When?
I will assign someone to pull those minutes and get them posted.
Okay, because I hear that there's been a lot of issues at those meetings. And the fire advisory board, for all of you that don't know, those are people that are living in different townships that are on maybe township boards, and they bring their concerns to the city council to have them addressed. And there has been meetings where people have walked out. So that's an issue. And if that's happening, if there's no transparency, we don't know what's happening in those meetings, how are we supposed to trust you? Next thing I would like to address, Ron Lawrence, who is not here, Chief 1. So I'm just gonna speak as if he was here. So Ron, I'm gonna call you out directly because you have failed in the last year to abide by the Princeton Fire Department handbook for being there to have the backs of the firemen and firefighters in this community. The lack of communication I know has happened, has decreased dramatically in the past year. My husband's a fireman. Ron used to call my husband during the week to go do things. He doesn't anymore. Just recently, there was some sort of like last minute burn that happened, and it happened the day of, no notice. So in the last year, I want to know, who is he answering to? Is he literally the answering to city council, or is he the chief? Because it seems like he's kissing your guys' butts instead of doing what he's supposed to be doing. Good job. So lack of communication, the firemen have gotten none. It was literally, not even making this up, guys. So the trainings for the year, like last year, my husband got an email at the end of December explaining when the trainings were gonna be. They didn't get them until literally the assistant chief sent out an email saying when the trainings were gonna be. And then like 2 hours later, then Ron decides to send out a follow-up email. That's bull. That's complete BS. So the lack of communication. So if you plan on putting him into an emergency response position within the city, come on. Like, as a community member and a taxpayer, I don't want my money going to someone that can't even respond to his own firemen when they're asking questions. That's ridiculous. Last thing. We can't complain without a solution, so I would like to offer a solution. I don't believe that retirement is enough. I would like to see Ron step down completely. How do the taxpayers trust this new position that you're gonna be giving them? Okay, is he actually an emergency response manager? How much oversight is he gonna have in the fire department, which should be zero, because obviously he can't do his job now as chief. He's not even here tonight to face the music. If he would have faced the music from the very beginning, it would probably not be this bad. And I would love to talk to Ron. How embarrassing for him how embarrassing for this city right now. You got how many news people here? These guys are going to walk out February 8th if Ron has anything to do with this fire department. They're done. If you think that's a joke, it's not. So until every single one of you put on turnout gear and jump into a burning house yourself, or do CPR on a 2-year-old that's dying, I want you to seriously consider what that's gonna look like when you have 0 firemen. Because that's what's gonna happen if Ron has anything to do with this place. It's gonna happen. The other thing I want to point out to the citizens is that previously in this city, there has been corruption. If you don't know about it, Office of State Auditor. Okay, I know this isn't from you guys specifically, but there are a few of you here that were here when this happened. Money. Okay, shuffled wherever has happened. It's really easy to find. Right here, guys. I'll leave it up here.
My name's Dan Ryden. My address is 5469 18th Street, Princeton. I'm a Princeton firefighter. I just want to talk about this so-called gear room. As it was stated, most of that gear is used or expired. It is issued to probies for training purposes only. My mask was damaged in a training burn. The moment we came out and seen our masks were damaged, I myself walked to the chief and showed him my mask and said, look, and he said, yes, those need to be replaced. I have a small mask. There's 2 people on this department that have a small mask. I could not go to that room and get another mask. That was not, I wasn't able to do that. It took 3 months. It took somebody to call OSHA for my life. If that was to fail, I would lose my life. What's it cost? What is my life valuable for? If I can't serve my community, go save somebody else. If I lose my life, guess what? Now the firefighters have to pull me out and not focus on the community or the house or the members of that household inside that fire because they're trying to save me. My life isn't worth a $500 fix. Somebody has to call OSHA about that. There's something wrong with that. There should be no budget on life. That's absolutely unacceptable. And to say that this gear room, there's no new equipment that is usable. Nomex hoods. Yes, maybe a couple helmets. And even then, when I got my red helmet, I had to wait for it because they were on order. So to say that this gear is in this room, most of it's used and trashed and expired. And they actually had to throw a lot of it away. That's all I have to say.
Dustin Akers, Princeton, Minnesota. So, if you guys don't think you're corrupt, why is take OSHA? Why does it take 2024 to even bring up the gear? Why couldn't that been brought up before? Also, the last meeting, Jenny, why'd you step down? Is that because Bob Gerald was a firefighter before?
Step down from what?
Stepped down and gave the mayor the role of the fire head board.
I asked her to do that
Okay,
because I thought that would make the fire advisory board function better.
function better or look better for you guys?
I don't know, but I don't, there's no looking better. I mean, if there's a personality issue that something happens and people don't get along, that's not helpful. So that was solely to make the fire advisory board run better.
Okay, so for this new position for Ron, why isn't there a process to know how to determine, to set, and who chooses the position, the terms, and duties that he will be doing?
Last time, right?
Correct.
Why we have to wait?
Why are we waiting?
It,
Why can't it be addressed now, today?
because it's the responsibility of the city council to review a job description. They don't have job descriptions for either a fire chief, an emergency manager before them tonight. It's not on the agenda.
Well, we're ready to be processing a recall.
Yeah. It's, very obvious the level of trust in all of us here. And this McPherson and single out is below zero. Way below zero. So why would anybody be opposed to hiring an outside neutral third party to try to get to the bottom of this, to help us?
Because they're paid by
Yeah, and you get to the bottom of it.
You're their client.
Yeah, they're paid by you.
You guys picked them. We didn't get to pick.
Yeah, exactly.
What happens to a fair trial?
You're their client. You're paying them to find what you want to, you're looking.
Get rid of.
It's not neutral. It's not neutral. It's
I'm gonna go ahead and interject.
We call it 30.
I'm sorry.
Wait a second.
I,
33 of 36 firefighters.
I'm
Calling them
sorry,
liars.
but the idea that because the city of Princeton is paying for this outside workplace assessment means that the city is somehow controlling this
Yep.
is absolutely incorrect. I'm sorry. It's not-
Yeah, that's how your clients work. You work with it.
Exactly, and that's why
Yeah. It's on the best.
the law firm in question, the law, sir, I'm done.
Yeah.
The law firm in question has a tremendous amount of expertise in doing this exact thing and has been doing it for a very long time and has done it for many, many cities. And they have done so successfully by communicating with each and every one of you in a private, confidential manner so that each person can say whatever they want to say, but not just that. Not just allowing them to say what they want to say and feel safe in saying it, but then actually collating all of that information and coming to the council and presenting to you recommendations to try and fix everything that's wrong with this. Getting in line and yelling and screaming isn't going to move the ball anywhere. Let the professionals do their job. Work with them, please. Let them get the information and let's work and try and fix it. It's that simple. It truly is. I'm done.
Why hasn't there been this problem with other mayors, like Brad Schumacher or others? Why is it up now?
I don't know that I can't answer that question.
Why can't you answer that question?
There probably wasn't the problem. We weren't aware of the problem at that time.
Okay, so, and now you
We're not
are aware
projecting
and you
we're
should
gonna
have
get
been aware of this before.
It's the law.
You know, if I understand that, you know, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, okay? And I have to be okay with that because I was elected twice. I'm doing the job the way I see fit to do it. I'm trying to give everybody a chance to talk. Put their input in. That goes for council members, it goes for staff, it goes for all of you.
Well, then give the firefighter,
Let me answer. If you're just gonna throw a different question every time, I can't answer your question. So I give everybody a chance to talk, get their input, and we'll try to figure this out.
I think if you give the firefighters their choice to pick their chief, not ruled by city council or the government, and be able to have 2 years and be able to re-elect their chief, we will not have this problem in the future. Eliminate 2 guys from the department.
Just give it back.
Can we,
That way you
address
guys don't
that?
need to hold anybody accountable. They'll do it themselves.
What's the problem now?
Were you guys good or?
I will answer that question. And I'll answer it by saying, in 2018, between the fire department, fire advisory board, They came to the city council with a recommendation to hire a chief, non-elected chief. We took that recommendation. So if you've got a question on how that worked, then that's how that is.
Can we pull the minutes?
Yeah.
May I ask you on that? Since you brought up 2018 when the townships being viewed, what happened to the ad hoc committee? There was supposed to be an ad hoc committee that was a city council member, township supervisors, the administrator that were supposed to do reviews on the fire chief, and that never happened. What happened to the ad hoc committee? Where did that go?
Well, I don't know the answer to that because I was not on the city council.
Well, you just brought up 2018. Well, I'm asking you a question about 2018.
No, you're asking me a question about after 2018.
No, it was in 2018, the committee was supposed to be formed.
You guys hired Ron. You were supposed to form the ad hoc committee. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just asking a
I
question.
am telling you that in 2018, I was on the city council. In 2019, I was not. So if the decision was made to hire a fire chief, I approved of that. Because that was the recommendation from the firefighters, and the fire advisory board. What happened after 2018, I was not here. I can't answer that.
Is there any other council member that could answer that?
Not me. I wasn't here. I wasn't here.
I can attempt to respond,
And-
Dan, and I
'Cause I think that would have solved a lot of problems.
I do, there is a memo in the file, that says exactly what you're stating. And all I can say is, and I wasn't here in 2018 or 2019.
Oh, I know that.
So all I can say is that, it was failure of the past administration to not follow through with that commitment that was made. And I agree that if that was the intent, then in all likelihood, we probably wouldn't be sitting where we are today. Because if that ad hoc committee had been established and was meeting regularly, when I would have been hired in 2020, I would have kept, it wasn't until I started digging in the files that I even discovered it.
Show my name and address for the record on since I spoke. Pretty fine.
I know who you are, so we'll just fill it in for you.
All right, next.
All right, Dave Bauer, Sixth Avenue North, Princeton. I mean, I got a few questions. I hate being in front of people, so the fact that I'm up here says something. Sorry about my outburst earlier, saying that I don't trust any of you, but I don't. What is so hard to figure out here? That one man and equipment can't be figured out. Where I know me and multiple other people, our property taxes in Princeton have went up this year. That's not speaking for everybody here, but I'm sure everybody has. Where is all this money going that we can't fund it? Shit, they created a freaking GoFundMe for the fire department to try to get them equipment because you guys are not allocating money to that. So where is all this money going that we can't get them the equipment they need? Because they walk away. Any of you guys, I don't know you any specifically, but if you live in town, your property taxes are gonna go up, your insurance is gonna go up. We lose the fire department, that fucks with a lot of stuff. And I'm sorry for swearing on this, but I am so mad about this that where is all of this going that we can't work with our fire department? You get 9/10 of the fire department to walk away because of simple things. The community should be taking care of this. The city council and the city should be dealing with it.
But you can give the chief a raise?
Yeah. And he's not wrong there.
So
I don't understand where all this is going. Go ahead.
in
Sorry.
case it hasn't been answered, and I don't know if it has. Chief Lawrence will not have anything to do with the fire department.
On March. But that don't solve nothing for now. They want him gone now to stay here.
that we can't change that.
So you guys are all willing to lose our fire department over this because you're saying there's nothing you can do right now?
You, okay, so the fire department has wanted Chief Lawrence to be removed.
Yes.
They effectively,
And fire.
And giving him a different position, I don't think is gonna help, but
It's not gonna.
that's not what's happening.
That is what's happening.
I mean, you guys literally said it like 30 minutes ago that he might be moving into a different position. It might be a part-time, but
But it
I
has,
think we'd have to figure out the roles.
You already have that position.
but it does not have anything to do with the fire department. It'll be something he was doing before. It will not have any supervisory role over the fire department. He won't be involved with the fire department. He's retired from the fire department. He won't be in the fire hall.
so then he can go make somebody else pissed off then? I mean, I guess I don't know what you're getting at there. It's retirement should be retirement at that point if he's making that many people mad.
I'm gonna repeat my point I made about, very clear, you don't trust any of us. Let this third party process play out, and then we'll get this figured out. And get a good sound solution. Yeah, you have no choice but to do that.
No, and Jack, I respect you because I know your family. And everything, and I don't know anybody else on the board here, but I respect what you have to say
We were
because of
put in a
that.
position where we had to bring in a third party to help us.
But-
And you guys get to the bottom of this.
Okay, so I'll be nice about this then. You guys are bringing in a third party, but why couldn't that money have been put towards the fire department?
Because you don't
First,
trust us.
but that's not only my question. You ask almost anybody in this room right now. Why are you guys spending 10 to 20 grand on a third party when that could have fixed most of the problem with the fire department?
Didn't trust us, we were left with no option, but to hire a third party.
Well, just because I don't trust you guys doesn't mean the rest of the community don't.
Said that in Facebook.
But I mean, it could have been put towards them, is what I'm saying, and it could have solved most of this problem.
Yes.
But it's easier to hire a consultant on it
And
and.
that money coming out of the fire department. It's not.
Taxpayer money.
No, we gotta pay for it.
And I think I had the agreement here that everybody's taxes went up this year, but where's the money going?
Yep.
And I will step off on that because
Mr. Mayor,
I was just gonna respond to one of the questions / comments that were made about the raise that Chief Lawrence received. He was one of, I believe, 15 city employees.
15 of them.
Yeah, 15 separate city employees that were on the agenda for their annual step increase raise. It's something that's done across the board whenever employees reach a certain step within their pay structure pursuant to the city's personnel policy. So the city can't unilaterally deny an employee their step increase. They're required to give it. So that, he was just one of 15, I think, on that meeting, and there may have been more the meeting after that. So that's what that was. Just so that you can be upset as you want to be, but that's what that was.
There was somebody in general.
that's not performance.
Yeah.
No, it's not a merit-based rate. It's based on the personnel policy for every single city employee.
She's getting him.
James Hartman, address 28471 149th Street. I'm also on the Princeton Fire. I just want to clarify one thing that was stated earlier by the mayor, is that the fire department and the fire advisory board approached the city for a paid chief to move forward. And I get that, but what I do want to say is I was on the department at the time. And if anyone else that was on the department at the time would like to correct me, but that was not the case. We found out as a department by reading it in the paper that we were getting a half-time paid chief. The fire department did not approach you guys. Chief Ron Lawrence told us that you guys approached him and wanted a paid chief. I just want to clarify.
I know that this has been addressed before, but Ron Lawrence got 33 votes of no confidence. And you guys are willing to give him a new city position, but I was just wondering if this is going to be available to more than just Ron, or if he's already declared to have that position.
It's not a new city position. He already holds.
He already holds it,
And he has for many years. It's not a. new
and it's
position.
not combined with the fire chief.
The only
They're two
combination.
separate
There could
positions.
be some affiliation at some sort, but it won't be in any supervisory reporting to any type of position. It will not.
So he can still respond with the fire department, even though
No,
he's
no,
retired?
no.
Okay, because you said earlier that they were combined, the emergency and the chief, but
His
they're
old
separated?
positions were.
Current position he holds has a title of fire chief / emergency manager. It's currently a combined position, so he currently serves both roles.
So he will no longer be fire chief, but will serve the other role, so you're gonna have two separate roles for that now?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
That's the potential attention, yes.
Oh,
It's not in the budget.
it is in the budget. It is in the budget. Really, it is in the budget.
It's my turn now. So I'm Samantha Fergus. I live on 811 7th Ave, Princeton, Minnesota. Do you think I could get like a motion or a petition to start the ad hoc program that was overlooked earlier?
Yes.
Because I think it's completely unfair to have these guys using like equipment that's not able to use just because you guys couldn't make a simple audit or like, I'm sorry, I had to lost it. Okay. But
So
yeah,
this will go back to, every chance that I get, I am really encouraging the fire department to participate in this thing. And we're asking you to do it. I mean, you can choose, I guess you can choose to not do it,
They won't be here to do it.
but I wish you would. Okay? If you want, if we need this ad hoc thing, then that'll be part of the recommendation. And I'm not opposed to that.
okay, because I just think it's a lot easier to get rid of one man instead of 33.
And you got rid of,
Effective March 1st, though, not right now.
well, that,
So he's not gone yet, so that's not really fair. Thank you.
Matt Johnson, 13506 309th Avenue Northwest, Baldwin Township. Currently a Princeton firefighter. Just want to make a statement, I guess, of why I'm being asked to do workplace assessment when 33 of us clearly told you exactly what we wanted. We've clearly addressed the issues via the news, to you guys first, via letters, to the public, via the newspaper. But let's spend taxpayer dollars and do the assessment. Question number 2. Is Mr. Lawrence's new job roles and responsibilities going to be available by February 8th? And finally, my last statement is, like I said, I live in Baldwin Township. I choose to be in Princeton. I work in Princeton, 205 North Rum River Drive, United States Postal Service. I know all the streets. This aids me in emergency response to get to people's houses faster because I deliver in this area. But I can tell you what, come February 8th, Baldwin Fire Department has a spot for me. Thank you.
Question I have, if you create, well, not create, because Ron already has the emergency manager position. The vehicle that the city purchased with COVID funds, is that vehicle going to stay with the emergency manager that does not get used all that much? Or is that vehicle going to stay in the fire service? Because there isn't any money in the budget or in the account to buy a new command vehicle. And I don't want to see the township's got another bill to buy another emergency vehicle that we've already bought. How many? That's my concern there. And then I'd also like you guys to make sure these guys know that the emergency manager, the pay for that comes from FEMA, does it not? It's not actually coming out of your tax paying dollar, your residence dollars. Does that not come from FEMA?
comes, yeah, I don't know.
You
what-
are, you are correct.
Okay, so maybe let these guys know that some of that pay does come from FEMA. It's not affecting the city residents there. You know, I'm not condoning it, but I'm, you know.
No, I understand.
And to answer your first question, I don't know that we thought about where a vehicle is going to end up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chad Eichman, 1300 7th Street North, Princeton, Minnesota. I was the member voted by the fire department to be on the ad hoc committee in 2018. Or for the new chief's position in 2018. And just like Jim had said, that did not come from the fire department. That was, we found out late in the game. That was something that Ron had been working on and convinced the council that it was a position we needed. And then dumped it on us in the context that the mayor was asking for, was Mayor Whitcomb at the time. We had different administration in. I think there might be, anyway, that ad hoc committee, we had one meeting. I was able to voice the concerns of the firefighters and state that we didn't want this. We did not want this. And this is exactly why, because we were used to being able to, there's always been an ebb and flow. You've had, there's been really good chiefs, there's been bad chiefs throughout the years. The thing is every 2 years we had the opportunity to vote. So if you had somebody that wasn't working out, we were able to vote in a new person. And we were losing that, and we knew it. And so when I voiced that concern, the administrator at the time, Barbian, said, Chad, you don't worry about it. We're gonna have these ad hoc committees at least annually, and you'll be able to voice, let us know if things are not working out. We'll get a new chief on the department. That never happened. And we're in the exact predicament that we were all afraid of in 2018, when it was forced on us to have a chief appointed by the city. Thank you.
I just have one more thing to say. We all raise our children, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I raise my children that if you make a mistake, it's okay. And it can be fixed, right? You guys would save so much face right now if you would just admit that this was a mistake and the ad hoc committee should have went forward, it didn't. And that Chief Lawrence actually, however, back in 2018, either he went to you guys or went to city council, or city council and the mayor went to him, or whatever it is, but we can obviously say that it was a mistake. And that it could be fixed right now. All you have to do is turn over the chief's position back to the firemen so they can vote on it every 2 years. It's okay. We can fix this. Just give it back to those guys. It's not that hard to do. I know you guys could do that. As a city council, you guys could come together and you could say, okay, let's just let them figure it out then if they think that they know how to do it better. And it would be a lot of agony and misery, and Michelle wouldn't be bothered so much. Jack, you've been on the city council for years. You've never. Oh, you're your second term. Okay, well, somebody up here has been up here for a while. Victoria, I know you've been up here. Have you ever seen this kind of crap before?
No.
No.
And I was not on the council at the time that.
Right. But it's okay. I just want to say, just mayor, have some sort of pull, do something, give it back to the guys so they can vote on it.
I'm gonna go back to my original point. This is what this investigation by a neutral third party
Assessment.
is going to, and we will establish our decision based on that.
But
that's-
Mr. Edmonds, but Mr. Edmonds, the whole idea of this is the fact that it shouldn't have even gotten to this point.
And maybe so, but until we investigate it, we don't know.
But there shouldn't have to be when you have
Well,
33,
we're where we're at
when you
today.
have 33 guys.
We can't deal with yesterday. We have to deal with today and.
But yesterday, 33 guys.
That's over.
Your guys are totally okay right now, sitting in your chairs. 33 guys are gonna walk away. February 8th.
I don't feel safe as a Princeton person. If something happens to my house.
Easily just within the next week or
I
so.
don't know how you guys are okay with losing an entire fire department.
That are
Because-
volunteers. They don't, like, they volunteer their time to help you guys and to save your family. And you're gonna let 33 of them out of 36 walk away just because you can't get rid of one man.
But don't let him just retire. He will be-
As effective March 1st. Correct. Not right now. So you cannot tell me that he's retired when it is not March 1st.
So you won, take a win, then let's figure it out, try to fix it.
Yeah.
I didn't win.
I didn't win. I'm 16 years old and I feel unsafe in my own town because 33 men are gonna walk away. What if something happens to me when I'm home alone? I'm a teenage girl. Okay, guys, like that's scary, as it is, much less without firemen or police or anything. And you're just gonna let them all walk away. That doesn't make sense to me.
Ethan Johnston, Princeton, Minnesota. I'm an EMT student for the past 2 years. In those 2 years, I've run 17 live calls where I've held children in my arms as they died. I've almost been killed 3 times in the line of duty as a student of an EMT service. The safest job out of all 3 first responders, police, fire, and EMS. If I can die as a student due to outside circumstances that cannot be controlled, why won't you protect my brothers? Even though I'm not a full-fledged EMT yet, why can't you protect my brothers and sisters with something that you can control? Can you bring up that picture of the closet with the helmets in?
Yes, we can do that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Just give Ed a minute.
Yep.
Just tell me when to stop.
Okay, nope. Oh, go back. That one. Okay. Underneath that black helmet, what is the condition of that face mask? It is cracked and it is useless. I would also like to bring up the funding. You cannot buy 3 ambulances with the funding that you're giving my brothers. One heart scanner that only requires 12 stickers across your left breast costs $30,000. A fair portion of the money that you're giving my brothers. You can't afford with the money that we give you to fix a small problem on a fire truck that can deflect a car going 50, 60 miles an hour. That almost happened to me on a call. I almost died on a call because someone was on their phone going 60 miles an hour. They stopped, thank God, but we had a fire truck behind me that was positioned just so that if the car hit, it would have gone off and not hurt anyone else except the driver. And we could have helped them. Had that truck not been there because they had faulty equipment, I possibly would not be here. So why aren't we funding these guys better? Why aren't we taking care of them? They run into hell, literal hell, to protect you. Why aren't you taking care of them? And Miss Jenny, based off of your body language that I've been trained to look at and perceive, we have cameras that can prove my point. What will you do when these 30 men walk off? Everyone that I've seen come up here, you've been dismissive, you may face. What are you going to do? Because you clearly have all the solutions because these problems don't matter. So what will you do? And why is a 17-year-old, I'm a child in the eyes of the law. Why do I have to be the voice of reason? Why am I the voice of reason in this? I'm a child. Why am I the voice of reason? Why do I have to say this to keep myself, my brothers, my sisters, and my family, my blood family, safe? Why do I have to say this to keep these men that will walk into hell
to protect you. Why do I have to say this? This bothers me beyond measure. That is all. Obviously, my name's Dan Radden. I'm a firefighter with Cliff County. You guys already have my address. I just want a chief that's got my back, that's here for me. Where's my chief tonight?
Right?
Right.
Where is he?
He's hiding.
I understand what's going on, but regardless, where's my chief? Why don't I have that? Why doesn't the community matter?
Assistant chief's here.
Yeah.
This has been a lifelong dream of mine to be a first responder, and I'm stuck in this kind of mess. This, why? It didn't need to be. It didn't have to go this far. That's all.
I'll ask a question, then I'll stop talking. Who, verified Ron's credential to be the emergency manager? Did you guys look, I mean, did he just get it because he was the fire chief? Did he go through any kind of training? What,
And I can't answer that question. That was,
that's probably a question you should figure out before you just.
So from what I remember about how it was in the past, when Roxbury was the chief, he was also doing that job.
Yep, for $5,000 a year. Which I'm not saying he's grossly underpaid, but I'm just asking, did anybody check to make sure that Ron had the credentials? I mean, did Jim have the credentials? I served with Jim, I served with Ron. Did anybody check to make sure that he had the credentials with FEMA to hold that position? That's all I'm asking.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if we did.
That might be one you want to look at.
Well, that might come out of.
So my name is David Meyer. I actually don't live in this community, but with all this community support that we have had behind our organization, Dusty the Crusty Rusty Dumpster, I am the president of the organization. I am actually the one that kind of wanted to help with this whole situation in the first place because I seen a fellow firefighters cry for help. They want a chief that's going to stand behind them. There is a whole community that has started this group, 1.2 thousand members overnight.
Can I stop for just a second?
Yeah.
Name and address, please.
David Meyer, 4540 261st Avenue, Northwest, Sandy, Minnesota, 55040. Why is it that a community has to come together as we have allowed you guys as officials to make the decisions, to hold the financial funds for these guys? We started a 501c3 in the process. We are working to this day to raise funds for this fire department, even though they don't want us to do this for them. They don't want the community to do this. They want you guys as city officials to hold accountability to what's happening in this city. I have never imagined, with all the stuff that has came to me, all the news reporters, all the political drama, I have stopped my living of my life just to support these guys because they truly deserve it. I stopped working because I am going to keep fighting for something that they deserve. Why can't we just work together as a community together and make this better than what it is today? Make it better today, make it better tomorrow. Allow the firefighters to decide. Let them choose who they want to work under. You can't let all of them walk away. If they walk away, nobody's gonna be safe. How can we rely on Zimmerman? How can we rely on any other cities that are far away? By the time they get there, our houses will be destroyed. Those fires do take off to the point that I always wanted to be a firefighter. I always followed along with them. I grew up with Bram Fire Department. I walked their halls, I walked their eyes, I seen everything, but I was never able to be employed and be able to be deployed. Please, as an organization, please make a difference. Let us be able to move forward and make this community a better place today. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't watching the clock. I don't think I had 3 minutes and I had a little more to say. Ken Murray, Winter Township. I just wanted to ask the council if anybody in here knows how much Wynett Township is owed for overpayment. Anybody have any idea? Michelle?
And I'm still working on those numbers and I apologize for not getting them.
What,
But I cannot answer that question right now.
can you give me a ballpark figure that you have from Brian Melvin?
I cannot.
Brian, do you have that figure?
35,000, yep.
Wynett Township was overcharged about $35,000. And at these advisory board meetings, people say, I'm repetitious. I ask the same stupid questions at every board meeting. I thought I was at the wrong meeting. That's why I come here tonight. I thought maybe you guys had another meeting I should go to. But, now you know what the figure is and why I'm here. One more thing I'd like to say. I'm 76 years old and I've seen a lot of businesses close. Usually when they close and somebody's let go, you take the keys and they're not allowed to go into business. You could have a problem here with sabotage. Maybe your chief would do something. Why would you take that responsibility on not immediately taking his keys and not letting him in the building? I don't understand that. I guess that's. Does anybody believe Brian Melgren's number? Do you think that's kind of preposterous?
I believe that there was error in the building.
And when will we get an answer on the refund? Because I just paid my fire bill and I'm trying to set my budget for March. And my constituents are asking me, they don't have much faith in me anymore, actually.
Understand? All I can say is I will be working on the numbers this weekend.
Okay.
And the intent is, we have a fire advisory board meeting on February 7th. Thank you. And an entire agenda packet will be going out next week. And that's part of the discussion.
And just one more question I wanted to ask Dan Hiller, was all your payments correct? And that was the same thing with Blue Hill Township. That's why Blue Hill left. I went to a couple of their meetings, tried to talk him into not leaving. Nobody else was there. I was hoping I'd see some of you guys there. I said, please give us a chance to fix it. I didn't see anybody else there, but I think if this would have been solved and all the billing would have been correct, Blue Hill Township would have been here if they would have been supported. Nobody's called me. I'll give you my phone number, 763-370-3359. Anybody in this building can call me. If I've done something wrong or said something wrong, call me and I'll be happy to talk to you. So, thank you, appreciate it.
Have we got it? All right, all of those comments were important, and I guarantee that we all heard them. We don't act fast enough, or we don't give you the answer that you want. You know, I guess that's what it is, but we're not gonna not listen to you, okay? We all want this to get fixed. You have Chief Lawrence is retired or will be retired shortly. There will be a new chief. And, you know, if we have a fire department, the fire department will have a chief. I hope that you all stay and answer calls. I really do hope you do.
I might be out of turn, but can I say one more thing? You guys are very capable of fixing this. You don't need to spend 10 cents on hiring somebody from out. You guys have a lot of experience. Look at the facts, do the right thing. It'll be done. You're smart people. You can do it. Don't spend a nickel on the outside.
All right, if you want to follow along on the rest of the meeting, is there anything else we need to say? Anything, Damien?
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry. Is there a reason why the chief is not here tonight? If he still has his position? I mean, wouldn't it be, to me, it'd be a very, it's be very appropriate for him to be here.
Quite frankly, and to be perfectly honest, he was excused from this meeting. Okay, he was excused from the meeting because of everything that's been going on social media and what would have happened had he been here. This is not something that any city employee should ever be subject to. You all had your say. You might not have had your chance to go straight at him, but you had your say. And we need to maintain some measure of order. We need to move on. And I think we're on to the next item on the agenda. If you want to stay, feel free. Otherwise, drive safe, walk safe, be safe.
I got a question. If you don't mind, just one quick question. Just one. It has to do with this outside party.
No, I'm sorry, we've moved on.
You just let me say one thing and I promise I'll end it and I'll walk away and I'll be done.
5 seconds.
Who is paying for this third party?
Yeah. City of Princeton paying for it.
Huh?
The city of Princeton is paying for it.
So that's us. I think all of us might be more okay with replacing these guys' equipment that they need.
And we've talked about.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a statement. I just wanted to find out where the money's going to pay for this outside party. That was all.
No, it's a separate pot of money.
Not part of that.
It's not the taxpayers' money either. Yeah, that's my
We
point.
don't bring money. We all pay.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Can we have, if you're talking in the hallway, can you, take it outside, please?
Close the door.
I don't even know that the door is closed because it's kind of hot in here.
You got the AC control in here? That gets hot in here.
I'd like to.
Babies, it's nice.
All right, next order of business is donation from the Eddie Family Foundation to the fire department.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the Eddie Family Foundation provided a donation in the amount of $4,000 to the Princeton Fire Department. Last meeting, they provided the same amount to the police department. So their total for the year is $8,000. So we are requesting this will go into the donation revenue stream of the fire department. There were no strings attached, so the fire department will be able to use this to supplement the budget. We are grateful for their contribution to the citizens of Princeton and the fire department. And staff would move that we approve resolution 24-06, acknowledging the donation from the Eddy Family Foundation.
Make a motion to approve resolution 24-06.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That carries with our thanks. That brings us to ordinance 847. That's a fee schedule for building permit fees.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Ordinance 847 is before you tonight to amend the fee schedule for building permit fees to be more in line with the Uniform Building Code. Some of our fees were outdated. Some of the things that are required by building code weren't included in our former fee schedule. So this is a more encompassing document that we would like to attach to our fee schedule that is in your packet. Staff do have one suggestion on the last page that we are going to request to omit line 6 through 14, and then also 17, as those are fees that are redundant with other fees in our fee schedule, or otherwise fees that we typically do not charge. So we will be omitting those if the council is okay with that. This is the first reading of this ordinance.
So we'll look for strikes on those when we see it, so we know what you're talking about. All right, any questions? Take a motion. I'll second. Motion made and second to introduce a new fee schedule for building permit fees. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Also carries. Brings us to number 7.4. This is board and commission code of conduct, and this is a first reading.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I asked for 7.4A to be created to 4.8 of approving the code of conduct. I feel that there are some details missing, and I'd like to spend a little time and maybe look through that a little more detailed and maybe add a couple little things and bring it back to council for approval. So at this time, I would ask that we table both 7.4 and 7.4A until we can do a little more work to both.
Second?
Yes, second.
Motion and a second to table sometime in the future. Any questions? Comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
That brings us to bill list.
I have a new question.
I move to approve the January 23rd and 25th, 2024 check register containing check date 7718 to 87781 in the amount of $1,110,272.45. And the payroll electronic payments as noted on the pay period 2 transmittal register in the amount of $110,586.88. And pay period 2 check register in the amount of $258,375.66.
Second.
Motion made and second. Additional comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Brings us to bi-weekly report.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, keep this relatively short. We did participate in a pre-hearing conference call relating to Baldwin Townships Incorporation. You have the dates of the hearing, which is March 7th and March 8th. They will be, those hearings will be held at the Baldwin Township Hall. We met with some potential developers over the last couple of weeks. I'm participating along with Councilor Reynolds and Mayor Walker with the executive board for the fire department. I felt that, they brought some great ideas to the table regarding some long-range planning relating to personnel and development of some, policies and procedures. We also met, Public Works Director Gerald and I met with, members of the Mille Lacs County engineering staff regarding, working cooperatively together so that the city would take on, maintenance of county roads, specifically plowing and salting and sanding. They are taking that to the county board. And I anticipate that over the summer, we'll be working on a cooperative agreement in time for the fall sweeping season to start. So I thought the meeting was very productive. We also identified some other opportunities that we can continue to collaborate and strengthen our relationship with them. Other than that, there's a laundry list of upcoming meetings for information for the council. One thing I will bring to your attention, the Distinguished Service Awards dinner on March 12th. If there are any interested counselors or the mayor that would like to attend, please let us know so that we can do an RSVP. So we've got a little time yet, but the invitation is in the packet tonight. So other than that, I have nothing further.
All right, thank you. Any questions for city administrator? Hearing none, we'll move on to committee reports.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, we met and had our first, Public Utilities Commission meeting of the year yesterday. And it went very well. Commissioner Carroll, or Constable Carroll. Thank you for attending. We welcomed our new commissioner, Paul Whitcomb. We're very, looking forward to having Paul on our commission. Being the first meeting of the year, there was a lot of mainly housekeeping stuff to do, tariff resolutions, official notices, things of that nature. Okay, we approved, the work scope for 2024 lead service line replacement project, which is a significant project. We have a $600,000 grant from the state to help fund that. And it was best last. The commission reallocated funds, and because of its continued financial improvements, approved a $54,554 transfer to the city of Princeton. Commissioners voiced their opinions that we would like to see those funds go toward the causes such as the infrastructure costs, the new business park. Infrastructure would be road, sewer, things of that nature. So that's just our input. I know it's, that commission doesn't tell this council what to do. That's all I have.
Anybody else? That's the end of the agenda.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?